Jet fuel leaks from a military fuel storage installation in Honolulu continues to threaten the clean drinking water for thousands of residents on the island. In fact, thousands of people living in military housing have already moved as a result of this situation. They've been put in hotels temporarily until the Navy figures out how to clean this situation up. However, the Navy is pushing back on calls to essentially decommission this fuel storage site. Now, the Navy is scrambling to contain what one US lawmaker calls a crisis of astronomical proportions. Native Hawaiians, veterans, liberals, and conservatives across Hawaii are all pushing to shut down the tanks, even though the Navy says they're vital to national security. The tanks are connected to underground pipelines that send fuel about 2.5 miles to Pearl Harbor and to ships and planes used by the Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, and Navy. Now, this is a story that's been developing for quite some time now. It all started when residents in the area started getting incredibly sick. They figured that there was something going on with their drinking water. One resident shared her story of noticing her skin was peeling. She was feeling nauseous. She started getting better once she stopped using the tap water or the drinking water. And so when the story came out, the Navy had agreed to essentially decommissioning this fuel storage site, but they have reneged on that promise. The Navy last month said it would comply with an order by the Hawaii governor, a Democrat, to drain the tanks and not use them until it's safe to do so. But it reversed course this week and appealed to get more time to work on solutions. And just to give you a sense of how much consensus there is in regard to what needs to be done here, 48 of the 51 members of the State House of Representatives signed a letter to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin calling for the tanks to be decommissioned. State senators are considering legislation to outlaw them. And so what is the Navy doing about this? They claim like, we're cleaning things up, don't worry, we're figuring out other solutions here. The Navy has been trying to clear petroleum from the contaminated well and pump it out of the aquifer. Officials are also flushing clean water through the Navy's water system, which serves 93,000 people in military homes and offices in and around Pearl Harbor. Teams have separately visited homes and workplaces to flush individual water pipe systems. But guess what? There have been complaints from residents in regard to how effective they've been at doing this job. I want to share one quick video of a resident who had the Navy come to his home and supposedly clean things up. Doesn't really look like it. Let's watch.
So the Navy came and flushed our home today, and they were done around 11 this morning. That's not wet. That looks like it's stained from oil. And if you look, part of it is still wet. So when I run my finger across it, it feels very oily, and you can see the oil. Or fuel. But this is the outside spigot of our home.
National security, folks. I mean, this needs to happen because national security.
Okay, so that's definitely fuel. And it's not just based on that one video. So many of the residents are saying that they smell petroleum in the water. And they said that before they heard any news story about it. What's amazing is that, I realized this later in life. We've been talking about it for years now, of course, on TYT. But Chomsky figured this out a long time ago, manufacturing consent. Because in my whole life before I woke up to it, I always wondered, like, the articles would be written from a perspective of the locals say this, but is it really true? I mean, there'd be so much skepticism built into all the articles. And then they would say, but the Navy says this. And now that is a lot more likely to be true. Why would they all be lying about how the water smells like petroleum?
Right.
Like maybe after the story runs, people could say, oh, I wonder if it's me too, et cetera, I get it. But in the beginning, why would everybody in the community randomly make up the same lie, right? But our media has been trained to believe the powerful and never believe the powerless. So this shouldn't even be a contested question. Yes, it's obvious that the fuel is leaking. Fix the damn water. And not only does it go to the locals, it also goes to the troops, as Anna just explained to you.
Military families, yes.
So all those Republican talking points about support the troops, they never meant any of it. And in this case, it happened under Republicans, it's now happening under a Democrat, right? None of them ever mean support the troops. They mean start more wars so my defense contractor lobbyist friends can make more money. That's what they mean by support the troops. So, and then the locals, the water protectors, et cetera, had said, oh, the Navy's gonna fix it. We don't believe them. And again, the press is like, oh, like the Navy would lie, right? Yeah, the Navy was lying.
Yeah.
And they reneged on the deal and decided not to fix it, at least in the time frame that they promised.
There's so much at stake here, and considering that there is this consensus among lawmakers in the state, I do think that there will be enough pressure for the Navy to change course on this issue. They have to. And look, part of the problem is they're relying on this infrastructure that was built right after World War II, and it relies on these massive tanks that are storing the oil, or the fuel, I should say, just right above the water. And the tanks have corroded over time and they're leaking, which is why you have to decommission them and replace them, or create an infrastructure in place that is safer and will not leak petroleum into the water.
And by the way, guys, it always leaks.
Yeah.
We covered this Standing Rock here. We were one of the very few shows that did. We sent cameras up there. We're almost the only show for a long, long time to cover it. And what happened in that scenario? It's the same exact thing. The company said, oh, no, our pipes will never leak. And of course, the cops are like, oh, of course it's never gonna leak. And if you claim it's going to, we're gonna assault you and beat you and imprison you, et cetera. And the media either didn't cover it, or when they did, they're like, well, it's Native Americans say it's gonna leak. And it's leaked every single time, but is it really gonna leak? I don't think it's gonna leak, it's outrageous, right? And so, yeah, fuel leaks into water, it's a disaster. And here, let's be fair always, right? AP covered this, so credit to them. And you do need actual print journalists to be able to get you stories. So journalism is really, really important. It just has to be done right and done from the perspective of actual human beings and citizens, and not from the perspective of the powerful. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.